Holy howdy to you, expanding beautiful gifts of creation. Precious ones, today's spiritual nectar is our second episode on the power of forgiveness that centers around two men. The very well-known author, Anonymous, wrote, quote, "You forgive, you heal. When you let go, you grow." End of quote. Early one morning in Georgia, Matt Swatzel was driving home from a 24-hour shift as a firefighter, EMS, and had only 30 minutes of sleep. He was less than 4 miles from his home on October 2nd, 2006, when he suddenly heard what he calls, quote, "the most god-awful sound I've ever heard," end of quote. Matt, then 20, realized he had fallen asleep at the wheel and crashed. When he got out of the car, he saw the car of a 30-year-old June Fitzgerald. She was pregnant and with her then 19-month-old daughter, Faith. Faith survived the crash, but her mother, an unborn sibling, passed away. Now, June's husband, Erik, a full-time pastor, grieved the loss of his wife and child with close family members and friends. Some young woman from his church mentioned how she thought of the man, how he felt that hit Erik's wife's car, and what he was going through. Erik agreed with her and suggested all would pray for this man. Erik also knew he had to walk and breathe in the energies of forgiveness that he had taught on. Putting the head thoughts and the heart thoughts into the energies of forgiveness creates wonderful opportunities to wash over unforgiveness with pure love. With forgiving energies, one's essence is connected with the higher ways. Erik knew his only option was the gift of forgiveness. He would have to meet the man that killed his wife, an unborn baby, in the car accident. To start to do this, to connect, to meet with this Matt, the man who fell asleep at the wheel, Erik extended his forgiveness to Matt's sentencing. As a county officer, he was facing a felony and harsh time, but Erik pleaded for a lesser sentence. Erik shared, quote, "I didn't see why this accident and tragedy needed to ruin any more lives," end of quote. Matt paid a fine and did community service. Matt expected hate from Erik, but he was receiving the more. He was receiving the great gift of forgiveness from a man who lost his wife, an unborn child, because of him. It's very interesting to place our energies and ponder upon being Erik, who lost his wife and unborn baby, and then place ourselves being with Matt, who fell asleep at the wheel and killing a woman and her unborn child. So it was very hard for Matt to deal with the scene of the accident and the lives lost and a family torn apart. Matt had a deep desire to thank Erik for all he had done, but legally could not speak with Erik during the 2-year criminal investigation. One day, before the 2-year anniversary of the accident, they met at a grocery store. Matt had just bought a greeting card to send to Erik. Matt was in his car and saw Erik walking into the grocery. Matt left his car and approached Erik, and after the introduction to one another, Erik told Matt, quote, "I have a desire to want to be in your life," end of quote. How powerful. Because of the forgiveness lived out by Erik and his heart thoughts and his mind thoughts, many lives would be touched and changed. These releasing of lower energies of unforgiveness created a new friendship between Erik and Matt. These men stayed connected by meeting at least once every 2 weeks, attending church together and eating meals at the Waffle House and other restaurants, just the two of them. Not only were the energies changed within them, but around them and beyond them. Not only did Erik forgive Matt, but was a major force in bringing healing to Matt of the anxiety and the depression that engulfed him every day. Erik said, quote, "This has been just as healing for me too. I've taught on forgiveness, and I know that forgiveness is not so much for the other person, but for yourself." End of quote. By the way, Matt married, and their first child was born on the same day as Faith, who survived the accident, was. Forgiveness is a powerful gift to give to yourself and to others. In a previous video, I shared how one man at work was constantly belittling me for years. Yes, it hurt, and even at times there were tears. I worked through these negative energies, and then a portal was opening for me to enter, and enter I did. This man's stepfather, who he was very close to, had passed. I sent a card to his department, wrapped in pure love. He came to the apartments I managed for the university with a gift. From that sacred day forward, when he saw me, he would hug me and say positive words to Rob. It was the transformation of energies, of lies, and even beyond ours. Thich Nhat Hanh said, quote, "Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom's the only condition for happiness. If, in our heart, we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free." End of quote. Thank you for stopping by. Be you, precious one. Everyone else is taken. You really are an amazing being of the more. Have a wonderful meeting day. Big sky hugs to you. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Until next time, take care. And Rev Ned will be thinking about you.